Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is June the 18th of 2025 with Brother Phil, Brother Amir. Wake up, everybody. Brother Phil, we've been gone for a month. A lot of things have happened, good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to start with, a lot of folks, such as yourself and I, we take a lot of different herbs and minerals, for years, consistently. So I'm not going to take it long, I'll make this story long, but back in 1999, I used to go to an herbal store on Jimmy Carter, and Jimmy Carter was a family-owned business, and he was very knowledgeable. My brother was from Mexico, but he knew his herbs inside out, and minerals. I mean, the store was like a maze where his products were to the ceiling, and he started promoting this one product that was full of minerals, and he always talked about how the body is depleted with minerals. That the body needs minerals to fight off so many different things. What are we hearing today? A lot of people that have certain type of diseases are mineral deficient, right? So driving down Jimmy Carter, I look over and I was like, man, that's where my man's place used to be. I wonder whatever happened to him. So make a long story short, my sister and them, when they used to come down here on a regular basis, I used to take them there too. So I called my sister and I said, you remember the shop on Jimmy Carter that I used to take you and my sister and my mom to? He's like, yeah. She said, whatever happened to them? I said, I don't know. I said, I just remember the minerals, anytime you would take them, when you would urinate, it would be extremely yellow, right? That you knew it got into your system. And my sister happened to say, you won't believe it, but I kept one of the bottles. She sent me a picture of the bottle, brother. The bottle was dated 2003, right? She never took it, but as she moved, she always kept that bottle out, right? So I said, let me see if I can find out if they're still in production. So I did my research, found the company that's was producing the mineral product. So I reached out to them. The young lady that I spoke to handled sales. I told her that I met the owner back in 1999. He was a doctor here, um, and that would come to my man's herbal store and talk about, things that would benefit you, in minerals. His foundation was minerals. Okay. So make a long story short, the father passed away. So I told the young lady that I met the father, back in 1999. The name of the vitamin store was Ada Zinc Vitamin Store, right? So she's like, she had been with them for 20 some odd years. So she said to me, she's like, wow, that's bizarre because he used to go out and do, visits to, different retail stores, and he used to always want to talk to people about, overall health. So she told me he passed away, but the son, I never met the son, picked up the business, and he changed the name, but he has expanded the product line. So she said, I'm gonna give him your information. He reached out to me. I told him my relationship with his dad when I met him, and he was just almost in tears. That I spoke so highly about his dad, and he said, "Well, listen, I would love to meet you." I told him what I do. I told him, I have a herbal store and a tea business, and I said I told him I take a lot of different herbs. I take a lot of different minerals. So I said, did your father ever keep the one that he had formulated? And he said, yes. He sent me a bottle, started taking it. And then he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I would like to have it where I would have it bottled in my personal bottle, for my customers, And he said, but it was just a great relationship from the door. He said, listen, whatever you want, you knew my dad, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen for you. So, make a long story short, our new product line It's called Super. This particular mineral is called our Super Mineral Plus, and it's full of A, B, C, D, E, selenium, calcium, enzyme, magnesium, iodine, zinc, amino acid, chlorophyll, niacin, copper, chromium, potassium, bromelain, L-arginine, phosphate, cat's claw, all the minerals that we need. I take 2, but you can take as many as 3 per day. He changed the formula. He took out one of the minerals that was causing our urine to be so very bright in yellow form, which was a good thing. He replaced that with chlorophyll, um, and that chlorophyll helps to purify the blood. So the urine is still going to be a yellow, but it's not going to be a bright yellow. So I take these every single day. I've been doing it now for like a month, and man, I see a big difference. I mean, when I say an overall big difference, I mean sleep, energy. I don't have any kind of ache. I never really had any kind of aches and pains in my joints. But what I did have is when I would wake up, sometimes my fingertips would be a little stiff. Now, fingertips, no issues whatsoever. Um, so that's one of our product lines that we have as a Premium Plus. We have a total of 5. Another one that I wanted to mention is that's very important for men, is our Prostate Plus Premium Formula. And that consists of saw palmetto, which I used to sell, pine gem root, um, um, red raspberry leaf, um, um, uh, Ganova leaf, green tea, stinging nettle, Rashima mushroom, zinc, selenium, copper, vitamin B6, burdock root, cayenne pepper, pumpkin seeds. These are all herbs that I would sell individually for men's overall prostate health. So now we have it in a blend. So basically, what it has allowed us to do is shrink down our product line, but indents, what you take, versus now taking 15 different herbs or minerals. I only have to take maybe 5 or 6, and I still see the results quick because of the potency. Um, so that's so very important. We have one for women that's called Eve's Plus, for women that are going through menopause, or premenopause. We have a parasite cleanse. We have a liver cleanse. Um, we have a libido one for men to increase your libido and your testosterone, and we'll probably have a few more. But those are on the website as we currently speak. You can visit us at www.goldenmoringausa.com for any minerals, minerals, soaps, any of our supplements, and www.goldenleafteas.com for all our wild crafted teas and accessories.
So let me ask about the blends.
Yes, sir.
So looking at the concentration of the different herbs, as you just stated, instead of taking 12 pills of the various ones that I hear in the blend, this is sufficient based on, I'm sure, the percentage, right, that's in each one of these capsules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good to know. Like I said, I know when you mentioned earlier about the mineral deficiencies that a lot of people are either walking around aware or unaware of the fact that a lot of the things that we suffer from come from mineral deficiencies.
Absolutely.
So having these products is super important.
Super.
And like I said, I know a lot of people out here, more than likely, we've said this earlier conversations where you're going into a lot of these men health, like GNC. GNC, they have blends of who knows what, You can be you can go on Walmart and they got their own blend, right? Sam's Club, what have you. I know that all of your herbs are naturally sourced,
Yeah.
which is super important too.
Yes.
But people, make sure you do your due diligence when you're purchasing any kind of healthcare products, you know, specifically like on the herbal side, because you're just reading a label and it's telling you like one a day or something like that. You know what I mean? I know they've been around forever, but I know, you know, like I said, your products are all naturally sourced. They don't cause any problems. So this mineral one, man, I think is definitely something that people need to jump on.
Yeah, the last two events since having this product line on, we basically have sold out um, of our women's product, um, prostate, as well as the Super Mineral Plus. So um, customers seem to want the blends. And the price point just went up $5. You know, so it's not some super leap in what it costs to, you know, be able to have these products. It's just a $5 increase, just because there are multiple blends. Um, so that's so very important, and I wanted to make sure that I said mentioned, you know, because most people always ask about the cost. And you will see, you know, at the events, our labels have changed for our Premium Plus products. It's just gold and black versus the green and white. Yeah, so just to distinguish the difference. And then, you know, all the products that are in the blends are on each label.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, looking forward to you know, putting that in my rotation. And like I said, yeah, on the mineral side, you know, I think a lot of us out here don't realize how important these minerals are to us. And, you know, a lot of our diets do not include things that are producing minerals that we need.
Yeah.
So being able to get a product that, you know, has the multiple minerals in it, man, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah. They said this, just it was a study that was completed this year, that melanated people, um, if we weren't mineral deficient in the minerals, that we could decrease diabetes, congestive heart failure, hypertension, strokes, and heart attacks by more than 47%.
Wow.
If we just had the proper minerals in the body. This was a study that took place over the course of 10 years of just studying um, melanated people and their different type of diseases that they've approached it, you know, the traditional hospitals with. So it's so very important, ladies and gentlemen, to, you know, rethink and about your intake of different herbs and minerals. Make sure that the body gets minerals on a consistent basis, because the body is depleting of minerals every single day. You know, and most people ask, well, how do you deplete minerals? Well, you urinate every day. You make a bowel movement every day. That is depleting your minerals. You know, and they have to be, okay, restored every single day to fight off a lot of different things, to protect a lot of different things, and to prevent, you know, certain things from happening to the body's overall health.
And I would definitely encourage people, you know, I've been learning a lot in the last 3 or 4 years on just things of this nature, like what you need to sustain a healthy body, you know, between the diets, the herbs and the minerals, um, all this new technology we have out here. Do yourself a favor, download ChatGPT. You can put information in there about what, you know, do I need for minerals on a daily basis. You know, you'll be specific if you're a, you know, male of a certain age, female of a certain age, certain ethnic group. All this information is at your fingertips to find out what you need. Now, most, you know, we've had discussions on here about the medical field in the U.S., right? Still shocking to me that you go to these PhDs for medical information, and on the holistic side, they seem to shy away from it, right? Because if everybody's healthy, they wouldn't have any customers, right? And like I said, if you learn self-care, and you follow through, you'll do a lot better off. You know, every time I usually, you know, have my appointments or checkups for my age and of course my ethnicity, they're shocked that I take no medications. So I only can swear by what I've been doing. My regimen obviously works. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stick with it. Um, I'm hoping for 120 actual years. If I can get more, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Probably if you listen to us enough, you hear me say it every time. But I'm definitely speaking mine into existence. I want 120.
That's right.
After that, I'm greedy. I might want more. But I'm gonna do what I can to, you know, to be at my peak health wise. I know that.
I'm going to share this with you. So, Brother Phil, you know we do a lot of events. It's an event season, right?
Yeah.
So we have 20 some odd, close to 25 events for the calendar year as we speak. So a young lady asked me about doing an event, outdoor festival.
Okay.
I said, okay. I mean, we're not doing anything that week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she said, go ahead and apply. You know, normally they want to see, they want you to give a description of what you do.
Right.
They want to see a couple pictures of the product, what your price points are,
Right.
and what other festivals have you done. So I sent all that information, and I get the response, we're going to have to reject you. We're going to have to reject you because we don't allow any non-over-the-counter drugs at our event. So they basically denied us because we sell natural herbs. So my response was, what is the reason? Because more and more people are becoming more and more conscious about homeopathic, holistic, non-traditional medicine, right? The person responded, well, I'm a traditional doctor that runs this event, and I'm not well versed at what you offer. So, in saying that, you know, we have the right to decline. So, I just wanted to share that with the audience, something for you to think about, because it happens. You know, we think everybody has a fair opportunity to find out and to purchase things that will benefit them and won't bring any harm to their internal organs. But there are people out here that don't want to see that happen. They want you to continue down that same, dead end route of traditional medicine, which has not healed anyone. So,
Yeah, that's definitely what you call it, like a red flag. No, I mean just I the healthcare industry is huge. There's a lot of money in it, right? Trillions and billions of dollars. So just for the sake of agree or disagree, right? If people did not have to come out of their pockets for healthcare, for the traditional doctors, and they were able to just, do the healthy things, right? My doctor's appointments usually are for blood work, right? Because blood work is telling them what's going on in your body. So if you're doing the right thing, health-wise, eating, moderation, and you're constantly getting great checkups, I continue with my health coverage for the so-called just in case, right? But it's amazing that you can have a number of people that have been living holistically for years, right? So picture having a festival where everything there was just holistic,
right.
And the information that's being put out to people is just professionals like yourself that have these products, but people just hear all the wonderful stories of the people who used to go to the traditional doctors that were treating them for ailments that never disappeared. And then when they made the transition holistically, those ailments they had went away, cured. Someone needs to put something together like that, because of course, you and I being the brothers that we are, I hear all the stories from those who take the advice, follow which you prescribe through the holistic way, and there are major success stories, right? But there's a lot of people out here, all we're seeing on TV, they bombard you with commercials for all the stuff that I guess the regular doctors prescribe it.
Yep.
Never hear anything about cure. They just tell you about all the side effects that you're trying to end up with. That's bananas.
Yeah, yeah. I have one customer right now. She has allergies and was on the pump. She bought our lung support tea, right? She let me know the first day of drinking the tea that she felt like her lungs opened up where she never had felt this in a very long time. This is a grown person, that she was able to breathe clearly with no kind of congestion in her lung cavity. One glass, she said, one glass of the lung support tea. I told her, I said, you know, this is going to make sure you don't have no allergies. You're going to remove the mucus out of your lungs. You know, no more coughing and hacking. And she's like, man, this is heaven sent. You know, she told me that I'm going to buy several more bags just to have, you know, in my pantry, so this never comes back again.
Yeah.
You know, so I know things work, and I can only go on what the customer themselves share, you know, their personal stories, because we all have a story, right, at the end of the day, and we all may not share all our health issues until something may benefit them and they want to, you know, share that with us. So it's always a blessing when we hear those types of stories of a customer, you know, feeling totally different than when they were taking the over-the-counter prescriptions.
Yeah, that's like I said, man. The old saying, cliche, health is wealth. If you've lived long enough, you really start comprehending life and the joys of life, right? Every day for me is a great day, absolutely, right? And I mean that sincerely. I've had people like, man, you seem to be positive, enthusiastic, and happy every day.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, if all of us sat here telling our stories about what's not right, right, we just be like rain clouds, miserable.
Right.
No, I'm alive, I'm breathing.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that I deeply care for, love, that are no longer here. Number one is my mother, right? I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here. I see, you know, good brothers every day that I know and care about, alive and thriving. It's not about having every material thing that your heart desires, but being alive, being healthy, being able to have great conversations, and just watch the wonderful things that are going on in this world. I'm happy. I ain't got nothing to be bad about.
Yeah, that's my quote is, "It's the best day of my life," because all I got is right now.
Yeah.
So, but until next time, thanks for tuning in. Like, follow, and share.